Here's another example. Now, this is an example of a paragraph. Again, I want you to pause the recording and read through it. This time you're reading through to check for the overall academic tone or feeling of the paragraph. Pause the recording and read through it. Okay, now that you've read through it, a couple of questions for you. Looking at the topic about the importance of homeschool partnerships, is it on topic? Is it relevant? The answer is yes, it is. Is it cohesive? Does it read well? The answer is no, okay? And if you're wondering why, it tends to read like a series of short, sharp sentences. It reads like a shopping list. And this is a major issue, and you don't want your writing to read like this. It's quite jarring. Let's look at another example. And again, I want you to pause the recording, spend a couple of minutes reading through this, and consider the differences between this paragraph and the one you just read. Okay, now that you've had some time to read through it, I hope you would have seen some clear differences between this paragraph and the last one. This one is much more cohesive, using a couple of different language devices we'll highlight now. There are words, there's language which serves to link ideas together. So when you've got short sentences, you want to link some of them, especially if they're related. And you're doing it through language that I'm highlighting now. Therefore, as a result, words which link ideas together. Some of the two easiest and most frequent linkers you should be using are the words which and. Simple linkers to link related sentences. Another key way of bringing ideas together and highlighting why they're important, and this moves you from descriptive to interpretive, is to use highlighting or importance markers. And again, here are some examples now. Expressions such as, it is important because, this illustrates that. This is important, this is significant, this shows us. That type of language serves to bring out very clearly what your reaction to the text is and why something is important to you. So what this does is increase links and flow between ideas. It highlights importance as well. And in doing this, really take note of the tone of the writing. It's not of a spoken tone, it's an academic written tone. It uses that type of formal language, but the message, hopefully, is very clear and accessible. What you're looking for, again, is that narrative linked thread, and you can see that in the text, how this language serves to link the ideas together, and it gives it flow and cohesion and linking. And if you can achieve this, you'll be successful. The other thing we talked about, there's the linking, and then the other thing we talked about and highlighted in that example paragraph is the importance marking, the language. Look at this type of language which is listed here. This shows, this suggests, this calls attention to, this is significant because, this is vital. This type of language is fantastic to show your reaction to ideas. It moves the writing from the descriptive into the interpretive, which is what academic markers want. And it really gives you a voice. Students often ask me, how do I show my voice in my writing? This is how you do it, by providing this type of interpretive language. So, in terms of cohesion, there are two types of language we're looking at here. There is the content language, which is always topical. It's about things such as education or policy, schools, approaches. It's the what of the writing. And then there's the second type. There's the functional language. It has a cohesive or a linking or a highlighting functionality. Words such as the ones I've got up here. Okay? Make sure that the content language is brought together by the functional language. So, a couple of resources for you. Those URLs will link to pages of the type of language that I'm talking about. Make sure you save them to your desktop or your list of favorites, or bookmark them if you're using a Mac, and use them. They're really, really good resources.